Okay, guys, this is the episode where I'm going to show you how to solve the problems on the handout for episode 1 and 2. Okay, and so this homework covers episodes 1 and 2. And so let's get started. Question number 1. I've got 128 plus 172. Okay, this is pretty simple. It's just addition. And this is something you could do on your calculator. So I have 128 plus 172. Enter. And the answer is 300. Okay, pretty simple, guys. All right, next problem, number 2. Now, these first ones I'm going to breeze through pretty quickly because they're pretty easy, okay? And so I have 68 plus negative 32, okay? And so I'm going to do this math, and like again, this is something you could do in your calculator. I have 68 plus, and you could even put negative 32 here, enter, and you're going to get the answer. It's 36. Okay, this is more, an exercise on using your calculator than anything else right here. All right, guys, so let me clear this out, clear that out. Okay, let's look at number 3. I have 68 minus 32. Remember I told you to redefine your subtraction in terms of addition? Okay, and so this one I could rewrite this as 68 plus negative 32. Okay, it's the same problem we just did. It's written in a different way. Okay, and we already did this, so we know that the answer is 36. Okay, I have 68 minus negative 32. And remember, two negatives make a positive. Okay, and so I could rewrite this as 68 plus 32 equals 100. Okay, guys, this next problem I have 0.025 plus 0.05. Okay, and again, this is just addition, guys. It's pretty simple. It's more an exercise in using your calculator. So I'm going to put 0.025 plus 0.05. Put enter, and I get the result. 0.075 equals 0.075. Okay, and this also, if I wanted to express this as a fraction, this is also, I could say it's 3 over 40. Okay, this next problem, guys, I have negative 68 minus negative 32. Okay, now, negative and negative equals a positive, so I'm going to rewrite this as negative 68 plus 32. Okay, and then I have negative 68 plus 32. That's going to be equal to negative 36. Okay, number 6, guys. Essentially what I have here is I have two negatives, right? And I'm adding them together. So it's like adding two debts together. Okay, and so if I owe somebody $68 and then later on I borrowed $32 from them, at the end of the day, I owe them $100. Okay, number 7, guys. If I have two negatives here, I subtract a negative from a negative. That's going to make a positive, right? And so I have negative 68 plus 32. Okay, and then I do that math, and the answer is negative 36. Number 8, 15 times 2. It's pretty simple, right? Just straight up multiplication. The answer is 30. Number 9, 25 times 10. Again, this is just multiplication. I just want to make sure you all know the difference between, the different multiplication signs. But essentially here we're just doing multiplication. So 25 times 10 is 250. Okay, number 10, I have 32 times 20. Again, just straight up multiplication. I just wanted to make sure that you understood the concept of implied multiplication. And so I do 32 times 20, and if you want, you could even stick that into your calculator, and you get 640. Number 11, we have 854 divided by 122. This is just regular division, nothing special about it. I'm going to do this in my calculator. 854 divided by 122, push enter, and I get 7. Okay, number 12, 832 divided by 64. Again, this is just division. I just wrote it a different way. I want to make sure you understand all the different ways it can be written. So I have 832 divided by 64. Hit enter, and the answer is 13. Number 13, again, essentially here what I have is a fraction, but really a fraction is just another way of doing division. Okay, and so I have 49 divided by 7. I do that math, and I get 7. Okay, number 14, I have 6.25 plus or minus 0.05. Okay, and so what this plus or minus means is it means do both operations, right? And so I'll start off with 0.625 plus 0.05, and that equals 6.3. Okay, now I'm going to do 6.25 minus 0.05, and here I get 6.2. Okay, number 15, another plus or minus operation. I have 0.1 plus or minus 0.001, and so I'll do 0.1 plus 0.001, and that is equal to 0.101. Okay, and next I'll do 0.1 minus 0.001, and that is equal to 0.099. Okay guys, for the next 5 problems, what I've asked you to do is redefine the subtraction in terms of addition and to redefine the division in terms of multiplication. And so let's take a look at this first problem. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this as -3 plus -6 plus 2 plus -1 plus 10. Okay, and now you don't have to do this next step, but I like to do it. I'm going to rewrite this so I have, all my positive numbers on one side and all my negative numbers on the other side. 2 plus 10 plus -3 plus -6 plus -1. Okay, and now I just solve it. It's pretty simple. Okay, and so over here on my positive side, I have 10 plus 2 is 12. Okay, plus, and then over here on my negative side, I have -3 plus -6, which is -9, plus -1, which makes -10. And so I have 12 plus -10, and my final answer is 2. Okay, number 17. I'm going to start again by redefining all my subtraction in terms of addition. And so I have 22 plus 3 plus -5 plus -2 plus 6 plus -5. Okay, so what I end up with is 22 plus 3 plus 6 plus -5 plus -2 plus -5. Okay, and so now I'm going to solve all my positives over here, and so I have 22 plus 3 is 25 plus 6 is 31. Okay, and now I'm going to solve for all my negatives over here, and I have 5 and 5 make 10 plus 2 makes 12, and so I have 31 plus -12. Okay, and 31 minus 12 make 19. Okay, next problem, guys, we're going to redefine our division in terms of multiplication. Okay, and so I'm going to rewrite this as 10 times 5 times 1/2 times 1/5. Okay, and so on top I'm going to multiply everything across, and so I have 10 times 5 is 50. Now I'm going to multiply everything across on the bottom, and I have 2 times 5 is 10, and 5 divided by 10 is 5. Okay, next problem, guys, same thing. I'm going to redefine my division in terms of multiplication. Okay, and so I have 60 times 1/3 times 1/2 times 5 times 6. Okay, and so now I'm going to multiply everything straight across. And so I have 60 times 5, and that makes 300. And I'm going to multiply that by 6, and that makes 1800 on top. Okay, and then on the bottom, I have 3 times 2, which makes 6. I divide 1800 by 6, and the answer is 300. Okay, guys, for number 20, I have a little bit of everything in here. I have subtraction and division, and so we're going to redefine both of our operations in terms of other operations. Okay, and so let's get at this. And so I have -5. Okay, now here I have a negative and negative, and so that's going to make a positive. So -5 plus 2. Now, I threw this symbol in here because I haven't talked about it yet. It's basically an asterisk. Asterisk is the same thing as multiplication, okay? And so I have times 2 here, okay, plus 5. Now I have a little bit of division here. I'm dividing by 2, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply this by 1/2. Okay, and then I'm subtracting 1, and I'm going to add -1. So because we have multiplication here, guys, we have to stick to the order of operations. And so I have 2 times 2 is 4 here. Okay, and then over here I have 5/2. I'm just going to leave that in this form right now. Okay, and so now I'm going to drop everything else down. I have -5 plus 4 plus 5/2 plus -1. Okay, and so now I'm going to do all my addition from left to right, but for now, I'm just going to skip the fraction. Okay, so I'm going to put all my other terms together. And so I have -5 plus 4, that makes -1. Okay, and then when I add that to -1, I get -2. And so what I have here is -2 plus 5/2. Okay, and so for this final step, in order to be able to add this fraction with 2, I'm going to have to find a common denominator, and it's pretty simple to see that I could just turn this into 4/2 right here. And so what I'm going to say is I have -4/2 plus 5/2 equals 1/2. Okay, 21, we have 8 squared. Pretty simple, guys. 8 squared is the same thing as 8 times 8, which equals 64. Okay, and so the answer here is 8, because 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, 23, I have a times a times a times a times a. All right, and because exponents are repeated multiplication, I could rewrite this problem and simplify it as a to the 5th. Okay, number 24, I have 3 to the 4th. Okay, guys, just simple exponents. Exponents are repeated multiplication, and so 3 to the 4th equals 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And so if I multiply 3 and 3, I get 9, and then multiply that by 3, I get 27, and then multiply that by 3, I get 81. And so 3 to the 4th equals 81. Okay, 5 to the 4th. Again, guys, just a simple exponent problem. Okay, 5 to the 4th is the same thing as saying 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Okay, let's do this one on our calculator, guys. I'm going to do 5, okay, and I'm going to do that little caret symbol, and I'm going to hit enter 4. I'm sorry, I'm going to enter 4 and push enter, and I get 625. Okay, 26, 10 to the 4th, guys. This is just 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, we do the math. Oops. And we get 10,000. Okay, number 27. is asking us for the square root of 100. What number multiplied by itself equals 100? Okay, and so the answer is 10, because 10 times 10 is 100. 28, square root of 7. This is a problem that I showed you in episode 1, okay? And basically, we're just going to do this in our calculator. So I push the second key, and then the square root button here. And I put 7, close my parenthesis, push enter, and I get 2.64. And I could round that. If I rounded that to this, to 2 digits, I would say it's 2.65. Okay, 29, the square root of 144. What multiplied by itself equals 144? We're just going to do this in our calculator, guys. Let me clear this out. Okay, and so I have the square root of 144, so I'm going to push second, square root 144, close the parentheses, push enter, and I get 12. Okay, number 30, pretty simple, right? I try to trick you, but I'm sure you all figured it out. This is just a square root, okay? Normally you don't see that, but all this means is square root. And so the square root of 64 is 8. Okay, guys, number 31, the cubed root of 64. I'm going to do this in the calculator. And so I'm going to push 3, second, and then the X root button here. And I'm going to put 64, hit enter, and I get 4. Okay, next problem, 32, I have the cubed root of 216. Again, this is just practice using your calculator. Okay, I'm going to push 3, second, and then the X root button, put in 216, and you get 6. Number 33, the fourth root of 81. Okay, back to the calculator. So I'm going to push 4, second, the X squared button here, and then 81, hit enter, and I get 3. Okay, number 34. Okay, I have the fourth root of 1,296. Okay, and so we do this in our calculator, and we get, we're going to put 4, second, X root 1296. And we push enter and we get 6. Okay, so the fourth root of 1,296 is 6, because when you multiply 6 by itself 4 times, that equals 1,296. Number 35, I have the fifth root of 32. Okay, and so another exercise in using our calculator. 5, second, X root button, 32, hit enter, and you get 2. So the fifth root of 32 is 2. Okay, so I have -6 to the third. I could do this on my calculator. I'm just going to put in -6, hat 3, hit enter, and you get -216. Okay, number 37. Okay, number 37, I have -4. Now remember the rule I just told you, because depending on how you do this, you could get 2 different answers. Okay, let's look at it the right way, the way we're supposed to look at it. Okay, this is essentially like saying -1 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Okay, and when I do this math, what I end up with is -256, right? And so if there were parentheses around this, like that, sorry, let me get rid of this. This should be out here. And so if there were parentheses around the -4, okay, that would be like saying -4 times -4 times -4 times -4. Okay, and so when I do this math, 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, we know is 256, right? But when I do a negative by a negative, I get a positive, okay? And then I'm going to multiply it by another negative. And so now I'm going to have a negative here. And then I'm going to multiply this negative by a negative, and I'm back to having a positive. And so in this scenario here, I end up with a positive 256, versus a negative 256. Okay, guys, now we're on to the order of operations. Got question number 38. Okay, and so question number 38 looks like it's 6 plus 2 times 5 minus 4. Okay, I don't have any parentheses. I don't have any exponents. I do have multiplication, and so I'm going to tackle that first. And so I'm going to say I have 6 plus 2 times 5 is 10 minus 4. All right. And then I just do my addition and subtraction from left to right. And so 6 plus 10 is 16 minus 4. 16 minus 4 is 12. Okay, question number 39. Okay, I don't have any parentheses. I don't have any exponents. I do have some division here, and I have some multiplication here. And so I'm going to do these operations in order from left to right. And so 21 divided by 7 is 3, plus 15 times 3 is 15, minus 1. Okay, and so 15, now I'm left with addition and subtraction, and I'm going to do that from left to right. And so 3 and 15 are 18 minus 1, and what I'm left with is 17. Okay, number 40, guys. Okay, I look for parentheses, and this time I have them right here. And so whatever is inside of those parentheses, I'm going to do first. And so I have 6 plus 4, okay? And so I have 5 times, and 6 plus 4 is 10, okay, divided by 5. So I've gotten rid of my parentheses. I don't have any exponents or radicals, okay, and so now I do my multiplication and division from left to right, and that's all I have left. So I'm going to do my multiplication and division from left to right. So I have 5 times 10 is 50, divided by 5, okay, and 50 divided by 5 is 10. Okay, question number 41. First thing I do is look for parentheses, and I have them. I have them here, and I also have them here. I have 2 different sets of parentheses, and so I'm going to work each one of these first. Okay, and so right here I have 5 plus 2 equals 7, right? And that's being squared, so I have 7 squared. Okay, and then right here, within the parentheses, the order of operations apply. And so the first thing I have is an exponent. And so 2 squared is 4. Okay, and I know when I have a negative and a negative, that equals a positive, so I have 2. And 4 plus 2 is 6. So I'll erase that, and I'll just put 6 right there. And so let's rewrite this to simplify. So I have 2 to the 4th times 7 squared plus 6 divided by 4. Okay, I've gotten rid of all my parentheses, and so now I'm going on to exponents. I'm looking for exponents, and I've got one here, and I've got one here, and so I'm going to do those next. And so 2 to the 4th is 16 times 7 squared is 49 plus 6 divided by 4. Okay, now I've gotten rid of all my exponents. What's next is multiplication and division from left to right. And I have 2 operations here, one with multiplication, one with division. Okay, and so I have 16 times 49, 784 plus, okay, over here I have 6 divided by 4. For now, I'm just going to write this in fraction form. I'm going to write 6 over 4, okay, and that reduces to 3 over 2, right? And so what I'm going to say now is I have 784 plus 3 over 2. Okay, now I'm going to change this into a fraction with a common denominator. And so I'm going to say I have 784 times 2 is 1568 over 2 plus 3 over 2. Okay, and that equals 1571 over 2. Okay, now if you put that in your calculator and you divide 1571 by 2, what you get is 785.5. Okay, and so I'm going to do my exponents and my radicals first. So I'm going to hit up this guy right here. All right, and so the cubed root of 27 is 3. So I'm going to rewrite this as 5 minus 3 divided by 2. Okay, 5 minus 3 is 2 divided by 2 equals 1. Okay, number 43, we're getting a little harder, guys. And so number 43, I'm looking for exponents, and I have them here. All right, and within this exponent, I have another nested exponent, right? And so I'm going to do that part first. I'm going to do this 5 plus 6 first. That's going to be the first thing I do. So 5 plus 6 is 11, okay? And so what I end up with is 11 squared times 5, okay? And this is in parentheses, so I still need to do that part first. So 13 plus 2 squared here, okay? And so within the parentheses, the order of operation applies. So the next thing I'm going to hit up is this exponent, right? And so 11 squared is 121 times 5 minus 13 plus 2 squared. Okay, so I still have to contend with these parentheses. And so I'm going to do 121 times 5 next. 121 times 5 is 605 minus 13 plus 2 squared. Okay, next I'm done with the parentheses, so I follow down the order, exponents and radicals. I have an exponent here, so I'll do that next. So I have 605 minus 13 plus 2 squared is 4. Okay, and all I'm left with now, guys, is subtraction and addition. So I'm going to do that from left to right. And so I have 605, and I'm going to subtract that from 13. I have 592, and then I'm going to add 4, and that gives me 596. Okay, number 44 again. I'm looking for parentheses, and I have them here. And within these parentheses, I have nested parentheses, and so I'm going to do these first. So these are going to be the very first things I do. All right, and so if I drop these down and I simplify it, okay, I have 12 minus 5, which equals 7, okay, and so I have 7 plus 15 divided by 3, which is 5, okay, and this 5 is squared, and these are still in parentheses, times 7 squared. Okay, I still have to get rid of these parentheses here. I have 7 plus 25, okay, and so 7 plus 25 is 32 times 7 squared. Okay, next I'm going to do my exponent because that's what's next on the order of operation. And so 32 times 7 squared is 49. Okay, and finally I have 32 times 49. You can put that in your calculator and you should get 1,568. Okay, so let's start breaking this down. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this parenthesis first. All right, and so I have 8 divided by 2, and so that equals 4. And so what I'm left with is 4 squared plus 15 minus 7 times 3 squared. Okay, so next I'm going to tackle these parentheses here, and I'm going to do this operation next. All right, and so I have 15 minus 7 equals 8 times 3 squared, and I'm going to put this here, drop all that down, okay? All right, so now I'm still tackling these parentheses here, okay, and within that, the order of operations applies, so I have to tackle this exponent, okay, and so what I end up with here is 8 times 3 squared, which is 9, okay, so I have 4 squared plus 8 times 9, okay, and I still have one more operation to do within these parentheses, and so I have 4 squared plus 8 and 9 are 72. Okay, next I have this exponent to tackle here, so I'm going to do that next. So 4 times 4 is 16 plus 72, all right? And 16 and 72 are 88. Okay, number 46. If you're still with me, good for you guys. We're almost across the finish line. Okay, I have parentheses here, and I have them here, and then within that parenthesis, I have another one nested here, and so I'll do that first, okay? And so here I have 24 divided by 8 is 3, okay? And so I have 3 squared plus, okay, here I have 16 minus 7 is 9 plus 4 squared, okay? And so I'm still tackling these parentheses here, and I'm going to hit up this exponent first, okay? And so I have 3 squared plus 9 plus 4 squared is 16, okay? I'm still hitting up these parentheses, trying to get rid of them. Okay, so I have 3 squared plus 9 and 16 are 25. Okay, next I have an exponent to get rid of here. And so 3 times 3 is 9 plus 25. Okay, and 9 and 25 is 24. Okay, number 47. I have these parentheses here, and within those parentheses nested, I have these ones here. And so I'm going to do that first, and within those parentheses, the order of operations applies, and the first thing I have, you can see, is an exponent. And so I'm going to knock that out. And so I have here, I'm going to drop all this down, I have 6 squared plus 16 divided by 4 plus 9 minus 5 squared. Okay, now within these parentheses here, the next operation being done is division, and I'm going to do that next, okay? And so I have 6 squared plus 16 divided by 4 is 4 plus 9 minus 5 squared. Okay, now all I have left is one operation within those parentheses, and so I'm going to do that next. And I forgot, this is actually, there's parentheses here and here too, so I got to keep that straight. Okay, and so I have 4 plus 9, so I'm going to drop all this down. I have 6 squared plus 4 plus 9, which is 13, okay, minus 5 squared. Okay, now I'm almost done here. Now within these brackets, I have this exponent here, so I got to deal with that. So I have 36 plus 13 minus 5 squared. Okay, we're almost at the end here. Okay, so now I have 36 plus 13, which equals 49. And so I have 49 minus 5 squared. Okay, next I'm going to hit up this exponent. So 5 times 5 is 25, so I have 49 minus 25. Okay, and 49 minus 25 is 24. Okay, number 48, I've got brackets here, and within those brackets I have these parentheses, and so I'm going to do that first. And so what I have here is 8 plus 14 divided by 7 is 2, so I'll put a 2 here, brackets, times 2 to the third minus 10. Okay, and so 8 and 2 are 10, and so what I have now is 10 times 2 to the third minus 10. Alright, now I'm done with brackets and parentheses, and so I'm looking for exponents. I have an exponent here, so I'm going to do that operation next. And so I have 10 times 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, minus 10. Okay, and so next I look for multiplication and division. I have multiplication here, and so 10 times 8 is 80, minus 10, and 80 minus 10 is 70. Okay, number 49. I'm pretty sure I did this during the episode, but we'll go ahead and work this again. Alright, a lot of stuff going on here, guys. And I'll be honest, when I worked this out, before I made this video, I messed it up a couple times, so hopefully I don't mess it up in front of you. That would be embarrassing. Okay, and so I have these brackets here, and then within the brackets, I have more parentheses that are nested, right? So I have this operation here, which is what I'm going to do first. Okay, and so I'm going to drop everything down, and I have negative 11 plus, okay, 18 divided by 9 is 2, and I have a negative and a negative, so that's going to make a positive. So I have plus 2, okay? And multiply that by negative 3 to the third, and that gets subtracted by negative 2, all right? So now, in these brackets, I have negative 11 plus 2, which makes negative 9. So I have negative 9 times negative 3 to the third. Okay, and here a negative and negative makes a positive, so I'm just going to put plus 2. Okay? So next, I'm going to tackle my exponent. 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27, so 3 to the third is 27. Okay, and so I have negative 9 times negative 27 plus 2. Okay, next I'm going to do my multiplication. That's my next operation, which is 9 times negative 27. Okay, 9 times 27 is 243, and a negative makes positive, so this is just positive 243 plus 2. Okay, and 243 plus 2 equals 245. Final answer. Okay, guys, last question. I made this one a monster. I made it so big, I needed my entire screen, and I had to get rid of the calculator, which is okay because we weren't really using it anyway. And so one thing I want to point out, guys, before we tackle this beast is you've noticed as I've been working these problems, okay, I try to do it in a very orderly, neat fashion where, I solve one part of it first and then I rewrite it to simplify it, and then I solve another part and then I rewrite it to simplify it, and I go line by line by line by line. Okay, you want to get in the habit of solving problems like this, and you want to do that for a couple of different reasons. Number one, it helps organize your mind so that you become good at solving problems because you basically get used to following a process over and over and over again, and then after a while it just becomes second nature. Second reason is you could always go back and kind of figure out where you messed up. You could check your work, or somebody else could go back and figure out where you messed up. Okay, and so yeah, it's a little cumbersome at first, parentheses. Sorry, it's late, I'm tired. Okay, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And so you could see, like, when I first started working these problems, right? I was just kind of going down the line, parentheses, now let's look for exponents, now let's look for multiplication, now let's look for division. And as I did, when I got into like the last 5 problems, I'm not that methodical, okay? But you should be, if this is new to you, you should be, until this is drilled into your head and it becomes second nature, all right? And so let's tackle this bad boy, all right? And so first thing I know is I've got brackets here. And then within the brackets, I've got all kinds of different things going on. Okay, and I have these nested parentheses. And so I have this one here. I have this one here. Okay, there's really no operation being done here, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. And then I have this one here. So I'm going to do everything within those parentheses first. And I'm just going to start breaking this down. Okay, so let's start with this one here. Okay, within the parentheses, the order of operations still applies. And so I have 2 times 5 is 10. And then I have 4 minus 10 equals negative 6. Okay? And so the answer here is negative 6. Okay? And so let's take a look at this one here. I have 2 squared, which is 4, plus 5. 4 plus 5 equals 9. Okay, and so here I have 9. Okay, we could go ahead and take a look at this one here. Basically, it's the cubed root of 8, which is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Okay, so the cubed root of 8 is 2. All right, and then let's look at this one here. I'm going to look at my square root first, which is 2. And then I'm left with 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Okay, so the answer here is 3. Okay, and so now I'm going to drop down all my signs. I had a plus sign here and a negative sign here and a multiplication sign here. Okay, and this was -6, so I'll put a parenthesis around here. Okay, next guys, I'm going to keep working on these brackets, trying to break these guys down. All right, and so within this bracket, okay, I don't have any more exponents, and so multiplication and division, I have one multiplication operation being done, and that's right here. So 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, and so I have, I've got my bracket here. I have -6 plus 9 minus 6. Okay, and so I'm going to keep breaking this down. I don't have any more multiplication or division. All I have left is addition and subtraction, so I'm going to do that from left to right. So -6 plus 9 is 3 minus 6. 3 minus 6 is -3. Okay, and so my result from all of this math being done inside of this bracket is -3. Okay, so now I'm going to drop this part of it and this part of it back down and rewrite my equation. Okay, and so I have the square root of 121 plus 5 squared times -3 divided by 3. Okay, and so I could actually get rid of these here. I don't need those anymore. And because this is -3, I'm going to put these in parentheses and redefine this in terms of addition. Okay, and actually that's being multiplied, so I don't have to do that. All right, and so next I'm going to look for exponents and I'm going to look for square roots. And so I have a square root here and I have an exponent here. Okay, so the square root of 121 is 11. So I have 11 plus 5 squared, which is 25, times -3 divided by 3. Okay, and so next I'm going to look for multiplication and division. And so I have multiplication here, all right, and then I have division there. So let's do this multiplication first. So I have 11 plus 25 times -3 is -75 divided by 3. Okay, now I have this division here, so I'm going to do that next. Okay, so 75 divided by 3 is 25, right? -25. And so we're back to where we started from. 11 plus -25. Okay. 11 plus -25 is, drum roll please, -14. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. If you made it this far and you made it to number 50, and especially if you got number 50 right, you're doing pretty good. All right, so keep it up, keep working, practice problems, get good at doing this stuff. All right, guys, take care.